in the face of this, any sort of obstacle that comes your way, yeah, and the next best thing to do is to dump and go someplace else.
And I've said it that I support your decision.
But something
it's
actually made her make that decision.
Something always makes you do something.
This is Sports Zone on Lagos Talks 91.3.
For now, let's take you all the way to the UK. The Flash himself has been on Sports Zone, I think once or twice, talking about athletics. And today he's got very good reason to be with us. Olusoji Fashuga is a retired Nigerian sprinter who specialized in the 100 meters. He was the African record holder in the 100 meters with a time of 9.85 seconds. A record that stood still until 2021, and then Simbine came along and took that away. Fashuba was also the world indoor champion over 60 meters in 2008, making him the first African to achieve that feat. So we welcome Olusoji Fashuba on Sports Zone this morning. Soji, how are you?
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm fine. And you?
I'm good. Where are you? Because it's a bit noisy where you are.
Oh, I'm going to pull up in a minute. I'm just on the highway, but I'm going to park to pull up and I'll do this interview as quickly as possible.
Okay. And I know you guys in the UK wake up early to get to your jobs. I'm talking about your job. You're in the Royal Navy, yes?
Yes, I'm in the Royal Navy. I've been there for 14 years, and I love it at the moment.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing stuff. Anyway, we'll talk about your surgeon in the UK a little bit later. For now, the news broke on Sunday, and I'm not sure there's anybody on the face of the earth, especially here in Nigeria, who hasn't heard about our very special athletes. What's her name again?
Favor
Ofili. Decamping, because that's a popular term in politics these days. Decamping, leaving Nigeria, and presumably, because we haven't really seen confirmation from her side, presumably now deciding to race or to run or to represent Turkey. How did you receive the news, and was it a shock to you?
Well, it was a massive shock, but was not something I wasn't really expecting because of the way she was treated. No country treats their top stars the way Nigeria did, and for her to miss 2 Olympics at this age, oh man, whatever she's done now, I think she has every right to do.
Hello,
can you hear me?
Yeah, you said the way Nigeria treats her athletes.
Yeah, the way Nigeria treated her especially was wrong. They made her miss 2 Olympics, and the first Olympics she missed, she didn't even compete at all. The second Olympics, she only got to run one event when she trained for both events, and she only just found out on the venue. So I think whatever she did now, I think she had every right to do.
In your opinion, because when you say we made her miss, it just seems like for a lot of people listening now will think that the AFN intentionally, stopped her from participating in the 100 meters at the last, major sporting events. Is that a sentiment that you share, that it was deliberate from the AFN at the time?
Well, I don't know. I think if it was deliberate, I think that would have even been better than what they did. It's like more of a lack of knowledge, which to me is even a greater offense than being done intentionally. Because in the first Olympics she made, there was no drug test done on all the athletes, and that was partly their fault because they should have been chasing up the athletes. The athletes had a little bit of blame on that one as well, but it was majorly the AFN to show that the athletes were all doped, so were all tested for drugs. But they failed in that, and you know what? No one was held accountable for that. The second time she was ready, she trained for the 100 and 200 and getting down there. Again, lack of knowledge. No one told her that she wasn't running in the 100 meters. And guess what? She got there prepared. That's 8 years of her life she's missed because someone does not know their job who got there. And you know what? The person still continues. So either way you want to put it, the fault still lies with Nigeria. You can either say it intentionally or you can say it's lack of knowledge. Whatever I want to say, the athletes are not happy.
When you were representing Nigeria, at different sporting meets, did you at any point, find yourself in such a situation, where the federation was supposedly, and I use those words very carefully, supposedly working against the athletes and, kind of dulling their shine?
Well, yes, there was, and there was a lot of instances as well. And the first was 2007. I trained hard, worked very hard, and after being in mind, last year, the year before 2007 was when I broke the African record. I got a Commonwealth silver. I trained very hard for the World Championship, and I think some weeks before the championship, my manager called me, was like, you know that you've not been registered for the World Championship. And straight on, I just got myself doing it straight on. I did not bother waiting for them, because if I had done, I would have gone to Osaka and not even running the 100 meters. And on getting down there, I came fourth in the world, a position that has not been held for a long time. So it's not like it's something new. It's just that sometimes I was a bit more proactive, not trusting my career to anyone.
So having experienced all of that, did you at any particular point in time, have a desire to dump Nigeria and, run for another nation? I'm just asking these questions because I want to understand exactly what it is that's going on in the mind of the athletes. Do you possibly think that she was advised to do what she did, even though we haven't gotten confirmation yet, especially from her side or even the Turks? But do you think she was advised to do what she did, or has this been building up for quite a bit?
Well,
hello? Oh, hello?
but if I was to guess, do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Go ahead, Flash.
So, if I was to guess, it's going to be hard, but I think it's a desire that is felt twice, and the fear or phobia of failing for the third time again by our country is still high. Bearing in mind, all the perpetrators of the incident are still there. So she's going to have that phobia and fear. I think this may be her own decision.
So what does this mean for her as an athlete? And correct me if I'm wrong, from what I hear, it might take her at least 3 years before she's able to effectively don the colours of Turkey. Is that correct?
Yes, that it is. And she's not going to have any major championships within those 3 years. And I think that it's been done before. Francis Obekulu did it. Gloriano did it, and she got Spain. So you can see there was a trend there. It's tough for some time, but now I think they're about to start. So the possibilities of missing those key championships, if Nigeria does not approve it at first, will be daunting. But knowing her and the mindset she has something to prove, and she will likely come up with that medal in LA, but not for Nigeria.
How do you react to the statements put out by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria? I'm just going to take out a little bit of it, where they said, and I quote, no doubt Ofili is one of our best athletes in recent times, but she is difficult to deal with. And this is a comment coming from the AFN.
Well, that shows a lack of understanding of what leadership is all about. Leadership is not about going down there to make people do things. It's going down there to serve people and know.
Hello? Somebody is trying to dull our shine this morning. I don't know what somebody did. Hello? Okay. While we try to get Soji back on the line, Femi, your take on the issue?
I feel that until we get her opinion or whatever it is, although it is reported by journalists, I have to say, whatever works for her, I wish her the best. And this is in a positive way, not even in a negative.
All right, go ahead, Soji. We lost you for a bit. Connection issues.
So, I'll say it again. Whoever said that tells me that there's a lack of leadership there, understanding what leadership is all about. Leadership is not about going down there and making people do things. Leadership is about going down there and serving people, finding a common ground of bringing everyone together and let them understand this is what we need to achieve. But I think that's where the major failing is. And I think if this can be corrected this time, I think it may help solve losing our athletes.
So those are the implications of something like this, because I mean, if a high profile athlete, like Ofili can do such a thing, it just kind of tells other athletes that maybe this is a direction in which we should be pulling.
Well, you can look at it that way. Everyone knows it, but I think some people try and have a sense of patriotism towards the country. But when you're being patriotic to the country and things like this are happening, one has to consider themselves, because this affects the future and the life of the athlete. The official will go down there, make his money, go back home, build loads of houses, send his kids abroad. And as an athlete, you go down there, you can compete in the Olympics, in which you spend 4 years training, spend all your money training. You don't even get half of the money you get back for training for that. And sorry, I don't see where the athletes can go wrong on this.
It's a really sad situation, Soji, because we're looking at an athlete, who first donned the colours of Nigeria in 2018 at the Youth Olympic Games, 2019 at the World Championships, 2021 at the World Under-20 Championships, 2022 at the World Champs again, the Commonwealth Games in 2022, the World Champs in 23, and the Olympic Games in 2024. An amazing talent that we supposedly have lost, to be honest. But is it always the right thing to do in the face of this? Any sort of obstacle that comes your way, yeah? And the next best thing to do is to dump and go someplace else. I mean, I'm just speaking as a neutral here, because anybody who's listening now would obviously say that whatever it is that she's doing is within her right. And I agree with you. But is that always the plausible solution when you come across any kind of obstacle?
Well, I'm going to use a popular...
Hello?
Yeah, can you still hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to use a popular Nigerian phrase that I loved using when I was in Nigeria. It says, "Na condition make crayfish bend." Well,
okay. Who be this person? The boss now? Huh?
when you look, it's either you're going to have to stop or you're going to have to keep facing those obstacles for the rest of your life. And after that, when you finish your career, what do you have to show for it? Most of us that have finished for Nigeria has nothing really to show for it. All we get to do is we do loads of shows, we do loads of videos, but how many people do actually remember, oh yeah, what have we done for this guy that has done this for this country? The answer is none. If Turkey is willing to throw all the money now that this girl can use to invest in her future, then by all means, let her take it, because at the end of the day, when she retires, she has something to look forward to. Not most of us who's retired and having to go work daily government jobs and everything to get better. Most of my counterparts are busy doing shows, busy doing busy signed by contracts, although they finished. But in Nigeria, it's never the case. Once your time is done, and that is you done forever from Nigeria.
According to the AFN, they recently paid her, Ofili, that's talking about Ofili, her grants, her training grants. And some of the feelers that we're getting is that this is financially induced. We do hear that she's stands to make almost $1 million, converting to Turkey, to run for Turkey. So are we likely to believe the stories that she's doing this majorly for financial reasons?
Well, if everyone tells me that they go to work and they can go to work for free, then I'll look at the point of, yes, financial basis. I'm sure when you're working now, you get paid. And if you don't get paid and you say you're not going to be paid for a year,
well, not a lot.
You've got to look for something to do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just said not a lot. I don't get paid a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't get paid a lot, yeah, but you still get paid something. So when they say they paid you training grants, the question there is, how much is this training grant? Have you done this consistently? For how many years has she received the training grants? There's a lot of things. Sometimes they may pay you $5,000, $10,000, and they think that's enough to get you to the Olympic medal. Sorry, that's a joke. That is a complete joke. But I don't know how much she's been paid, so I'm not going to raise any speculations about it. But if they pay training grants, I think it's time they've learned that, oh yeah, you've got to treat your athletes right. Because if you treat your athletes right, training grant or no training grant, they will stay. But if you don't treat them right, training grant or no training grant, they will leave.
Well, you do know that, I mean, Ofili would not be who she is today without Nigeria. If she didn't do it for Nigeria, Turkey would not be looking in her direction.
No, you're 100% right on that. And I think the thing you need to put is, and I don't know Ofili's full case from the bottom to the top, but I know this is I'm going to speak generally in the sense that most of us, Nigeria gave us the platform, but that's all they gave to us. When I was coming up myself, how much did I really get? I was paid literally peanuts, and I worked hard. I had to work extra jobs, about 3 to 4 jobs, just to try and make ends meet to be able to get myself there. So when I got myself there, Nigerians were doing almost the same thing as Turkey was doing, start throwing a little bit of money. Now it now became to a fact of who can throw more money at me, and that's what it's going to be for her. At that time, I didn't really look at that, thinking in hindsight, should I have done that? Maybe not. If I had done that, maybe I would have still been running, and my daughter might have been thinking about running for Nigeria then. But nothing was thrown at me. Even when I won the World Indoor, nothing was thrown at me, nothing. So at the end of the day, it's all about survival, and I think it's going to be a long-term survival plan for her.
You chose to run for Nigeria, Soji, even though you could have also run for Jamaica, because your mom is actually Jamaican, but you chose Nigeria. And from what I hear of what you've said now, your daughter can actually run for Nigeria or for the UK, but it looks like you're tilting towards the land of the white people.
Well, I'm not going to say that, because what I tend to normally say is my parents allowed me to choose, and that's what I'm going to do for my daughter. I'm going to let my daughter choose who she's going to compete for. I'm not going to force her, oh no, you must run for UK, or no, you must run for Nigeria. No, it's going to be her choice, because all I can do is mentor her, train her. She's seen all what Nigeria is doing, and if Nigeria keeps doing like that, they may be the one to push her away.
All right, thank you, The Flash, Olusoji Fashigba, for talking to us. But so ultimately what you're saying, I just want to get your perspective right. What you're saying is that you're very supportive of what she has done. Yes?
Oh, yes. Yes, I support her 101%, because of the fact that she was treated that badly, and you know what? Whoever did it to her is still in the board, and there was no penance for that. No penance was paid. If a penance was paid, I would say yes, Ofili, she was wrong on that. But it is wrong, and everybody will feel that it is wrong that whoever did that to her is still in the board or still in the administrative position. She's going to have that fear. She will never run fast again if she has that mindset that that person is still there. So I think I support her 100%, and I think she made the right choice on this occasion.
All right, thank you, Soji, for talking to us, and we wish you the very best. Yes?
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Do take care. Okay.
Like you said, like I said, and like he said, I think she has a right to make a decision. I've seen a lot of people throw out different things on social media, and I'm like, look, let's not analyze it. A young lady has made a decision on her life, and we all support her, and we wish her the best of luck in whatever endeavor she's going forward. For me, the word of caution for the AFN is that, look, the little things you can do, because we know that Nigeria can never do what the USA would do. Nigeria can never do what Jamaica would do. Maybe what Turkey would do. But what Nigeria can do is be there. Sometimes, there are times when, and the Eagle is not here, and I'll say this, there are times when just that small call of, oh, yeah, how are you? I know, we said the same thing for Madugu when he reached out to Okobi. That small message, you're not giving me money, but the fact that I know I'm in your thoughts, that's all the person just wants. And I think that's what the AFN needs to learn. Whether it is Okowa, whether it's going to be somebody else in future, that person has to understand that when you do this, you show some form of concern. That's something that money cannot even buy. Because no matter the amount of money she gets from Turkey, right? And yeah, she can do loads of things. She would have preferred if that attention was coming from our own national team. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of saying, oh, the country has failed that. No. I'm just going to say she's made a choice and we support her.
For this, basically, I think the country actually failed Favor Ofili in a certain way. Yeah, because this is the second time she missed the Olympics for the second time, in a row in 2021.
When you say the country has failed her, because I was very careful when I read out all of the meets that she's participated in for Nigeria from 2018 up until 2024. Yes. Yeah. This is an unfortunate event, yeah. But from 2018 up until now, it's been hunky-dory. So when you say Nigeria has failed her, how do you legislate for all of the good years?
I as a layman, for example, people on the streets, what they know, I mean, when it comes to athletics, the crescendo, what everybody expects from you is the Olympics. What every athlete, be you male, female, whoever you are, you dream of playing at the Olympics, running, sprinting, or doing whatever. And according to what we have here in 2021, she missed the Olympics, in Tokyo, because the AFN failed to get her tested in time. And then the last Olympics that was held, also in France, she also missed it for the second time event due to the federation mishandling alongside other athletes.
No, she did not miss the event. She was
at the event, yeah, but she wasn't registered for the...
She wasn't registered for an event, but she went for other events.
Yeah.
Okay.
She participated in the 200 meters event, which she came sixth, but she was very emotional, crying, and you could see that the 100 meters is that is our own sphere, that is like our own habitat, where she has been training for. Imagine you training for something for over 4 years and getting there on that day, finding out that they didn't register you. It can be very painful. Look at Toby Amuson, for example.
But according to the story, her strength was a 200 and not the 100. And because we spoke to quite a number of people, and they said, we're just rehashing anyway, but what they said at the time was there's no way she could have participated in both events and give her best in both the 100 and the 200. So they chose for her. The only grouse here, from what I perceive, is that she wasn't informed.
Exactly. And I understand that part. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm listening, and she had the World Championships, because you didn't add the World Championship in that. We mentioned the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, but the World Championship, because if you remember clearly, Toby Amuson's record is not in the Olympics. Yes. It's in the World Championships, right? And I'm saying that an athlete has a lot of platforms to show what they can do. Has she done that? Yes. Right? Maybe that's one of the reasons why Turkey are coming forward. So, and I'm fine with it.
Another thing,
I don't think, look, if you make a decision, stand by your decision. Don't blame somebody else for it. I think that this whole excuse of,
but in this situation, she's blaming the AFN.
She made a decision.
By virtue.
Look, and I've said it, that I support your decision.
But something actually made her make that decision.
Something always makes you do something. But at the end of the day, did you decide? You made a decision for yourself. Something made you where you are today, right? Have you blamed everybody else but yourself for it? No, it's your decision. You take the responsibility. But I made a decision that I wanted to come into this profession.
Yeah.
So if anything comes, I cannot start saying, my father pushed me here now, or my uncle pushed me here. No, I made a decision that I want to come here. I am here.
Just before we take more of your comments, let me just read the press release by the AFN. This was made public at the weekend. The AFN is shocked and surprised with the news making the rounds that one of the country's top female athletes, Favor Ofili, is seeking to switch allegiance to Turkey. The president of AFN, Chief Tunabok Okowa, told the media on Sunday that just like every other sports-loving person in Nigeria, on the continent and beyond, that he and his newly elected board read and heard her desire to change her nationality from the media. If this is true, it is sad, disheartening, and painful. But we are yet to get any official statement from her or any correspondence from World Athletics on her request. She's a promising athlete with huge potential. The AFN and the National Sports Commission have been working hard to get athletics and other sports in the country back on track, and to show that both sides are matching goals, objectives, and words with action. Favor Ofili had already been paid her training grants for this year, according to Okowa. Okowa went on to state that the 22-year-old athlete has prevented the federation from reaching her, and that all efforts to heal the wounds caused by the 100 meters Paris Olympic Games omission has proved abortive. From the moves we have been making to get her fully prepared and back to the big athletics family and her response, it's also clear that she had been preparing and working on her newfound Turkish love. She's old enough to decide what's best for her, but it's painful and hard to take for us. However, we will not stop her. She's still our child, sister and daughter. And this is according to Tonumba Okokoa. He went on to say, we want to apologize to Nigerians, the National Sports Commission, and the millions of people around the world who hold the sport and country in high esteem for this sad development. Lots of Athletics Federation of Nigeria officials are heartbroken about the matter, but they will not oppose Ofili's wish to change her colours. Despite our inadequacies on several occasions, she shunned the national trials, and even when she came, she selects the events she preferred to compete in. At the 2024 African Championships in Cameroon, she refused to compete in the 100 meters after running in the heats, claiming that the organizers did not provide the right atmosphere for competition. She also did not turn up for the last Africa Games in Accra, Ghana. No doubt, Ofili is one of our best athletes in recent times, but she's difficult to deal with, said the federation. The AFN has its issues, but we are getting along well with other top athletes and are still thriving within the system. We wish her well in whatever she's doing and wherever she's going.
You know what I would have loved the AFN president do is maybe some of these things that were said here were said after the Olympic Games, just to at least bury the matter. So it was like, okay, being the matter, I don't kid you matter. But I don't think he said anything wrong there. Maybe the recession is saying we paid our grants for this year, right? Because for me, it's expected to pay her every year, if that's what the agreement is. Everything he has said for me is fine. And the truth about it is, if she wants to run for somebody else, we're happy for her to go and do it. I don't think there's anything, nobody should cry and sulk over it. She's made that decision. Let her live with it.
So I want to, according to the person that broke this news, that's Kenyon Reno, sorry, a journalist, and he said Nigerian sprinter Favor Ofili has switched allegiance to Turkey as of May 2025. And what I want to bring out here is when he said that according to the Athletics Federation, that's the AIU Athletics of our
unit,
yeah, she told them about her frustration with the Nigerian Athletics Federation, and two of the frustrations that she actually gave as reasons for her switching allegiance is because of the Olympics.
Okay,
the first Olympic and the second Olympics that she was neglected.
Okay, we need to go on a quick break. We'll return after this.
All right,
welcome back. You're still listening to Sports Zone live on Lagos Talks 91.3. Today's a day of controversy. Before we take the news hound, I just want you to assimilate this. Then we'll bring you the news hound. It's from Ahmed Musa, and he wrote on social media at the weekend. I'm going to read word for word what he says. He says, I've been following the FIFA Club World Cup, and my focus has been on the African clubs in the tournament. Apart from the excitement, the tournament is a money spinner for the African clubs. It's a sober reflection if we compare the African clubs at the Club World Cup to our domestic league, the NPFL. Can we compete at this level? What are we not getting right? We need to review the organization of the league, club structure and funding. We need to set out new policies and drive the reforms. The NPFL is not lacking in potential. Our football has got abundance of talent and potential from the grassroots to the elite level, but these factors are not enough in a modern football system. We must collectively decide to make our football work, which will ensure that our clubs compete at the continental and world level. What about the referees and officiating? Other African countries are producing referees for CAF and FIFA tournaments, but what do we have here? We must work hard to ensure our football meets the global standard and organization. Wishing all the African countries at the FIFA Club World Cup success. So take that in, because that will form part of our discourse as well, moving on the show. But let's serve out the news hound, and then we'll come back and take some of your messages. I'm a bit worried, really, with this last story. I thought countries around the African continent, should be listening to directives coming from FIFA concerning barriers at stadiums, but obviously not. And this has led to death again.
May God give the family the strength to bear the loss.
Amen.
Amen. Things will get better.
FIFA Club World Cup. Brazilian teams are reigning, huh?
Well, they don't beat one of them, sure.
Yeah, but they're all top in their group.
Yeah, and a lot of things come into mind. Number one, they're still very active in the season. Number two, they've been able to manage the weather better than the European teams. And I think that a lot of the players are also trying to sell themselves because, look, what I've seen from the Brazilian teams, they've shown that they're really hungry. Do I think a Brazilian team will win this tournament? I don't think so. I think that when push comes to shove, when we get into the knockout stage, it becomes a different ball game entirely.
Yeah, there are more European teams.
So it always favors Europeans.
But I like what Harry Kane said. He did say that, look, what he has come to realize is that European football, and this is me paraphrasing, European football just might be overrated because the teams from Asia, the teams from Brazil, from Africa have shown that, you know, football in these other continents should be looked at a lot more seriously. Yeah.
I think you over paraphrased.
How?
You added Africa inside it.
Africa did too. But Africa too is pulling up trees.
I was watching Sundowns against Dortmund at the weekend.
No, Sundowns were showboating.
Exactly. I'm like,
they were showboating.
What was that?
They were showboating.
Why dad even tried their first game? Second game, I'm like, what are you people doing? Look, I agree that South America has shown good improvement. Asia, well, Saudi Arabia is currently holding them down. So let's even give them, because Urawa played nonsense, right? Yeah. Ulsan played rubbish, right? And Auckland City, let's not even start with those ones, right? LAFC.
Auckland gave the opponents, I told you, no?
They're still beat. What
was the score?
Will not be 5-6-0. I'll be 5-6-0.
6-0.
They chop 6. That's 16 goals in 2 games.
No, but if they hadn't let in that, if not for that penalty,
first half they even escape 1-0. Second half they even collect 5. 5. Disgrace
against Benfica.
Even Ren Monsters will not take 5 against Benfica. It will not happen. Embarrassment. Shocking.
Yeah, but part-time players.
It doesn't. That's an excuse.
Part-time players
in Nigeria. The strain in Nigeria local balance is that one job cannot give you the money you want. You need to have other side also. So are we not? I mean, one of your jobs is your part-time job. One of your jobs is your part-time job.
Are you talking about me?
Yes.
I don't have a part-time job. Every job I do now full-time. I don't do part-time
so
job.
If, as you're standing like this now, somebody now asks you to go and cover the FIFA Club World Cup,
I jump on the next plane.
So that means one of your jobs is suffering, because one of your jobs is not.
No, because the FIFA Club World Cup is a big tournament.
No, but one of your jobs is going to suffer.
No, it doesn't mean it's a side hustle. It's not a side hustle.
That makes that job the part-time.
It's not a side hustle,
because the person that left his work,
everything get level.
The person that left his work, I went to go and cover.
Everything get level, but still talking football, guys. How do you react to the comments made by Ahmed Musa?
Oh, well, I think Ahmed Musa has what he said actually is, I would say 90%, 99% right, because African teams, especially Al-Ahly, have been really disappointed with the way they've actually played in this
He asked a very pertinent question in that communique, and what he said was, I want to say word for word so I don't say that I'm being misquoted. Okay. Yeah. Where is it? Go ahead. When I find it, I'll interrupt you.
All right. So talking about African teams.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Right. He talks about the MPFL and he asks the question: can we compete at this level in comparison to what we've seen at the Club World Cup?
Now, no. But in future, yes. Because number one, this is a test. And I agree that the gap, I'm sorry for taking this off of you, but I agree that the gap will widen because Al-Ahly will get at least 2.5 million, Esperance will get a lot of money, Sundowns. Automatically, that divide will even go bigger. But I put this to Ahmed Musa, and I've never said this, but I'm going to say this today, that it's time for these players to stop talking and start showing us that they can do it. Start doing it. Stop talking.
Doing what?
Number one, you read the story of Real Oviedo.
Yeah.
Santi Cazorla put his money in that club back then, went there to play for them and brought them up.
Yeah, but all of these,
Andorra FC.
Yeah, but he has come back to play in the MPFL now. That's contribution.
That's not enough.
That's contribution.
Now own a club and run it better. Show us that you can also do it. Because I think it's very easy for us. Talk is cheapo. And Ahmed Musa is not a talkative. I'm not calling him that. I'm just saying we keep saying we want a change. Everybody who
Yeah,
was
but
asked
Santi
to-
Cazorla doesn't.
a good example. We brought the person on the show, Daniel Igali. Everybody criticized Igali, remember?
Yeah.
Because Igali too switched allegiance. But what did Igali do? Come back, run wrestling. And did he do it better? Yes. Did he run it better? Yes. Did he get to the level he wanted to?
Yeah, but
No.
those in authority will not allow these people get into offices.
No, you
look at Kanu Nwankwo. What is he doing with Enyimba?
That's a good example. It's showing that Kanu Nwankwo is not his own club. Is it his club? It's not his club. So it's not his investment. I give you a good example. Shoname is spending his money on his club. And we can see they're one of the best run clubs in Nigeria.
But Shoname is a billionaire. Most of these players.
Ahmed Musa, wait, should they play with me? Ahmed Musa is the what?
Musa
Is
get
it
money,
Tanzania?
fine. But
Shoname has a business that churns out
Constantly giving
money.
money.
Ahmed Musa get business too,
Which business?
no?
No, tell me now, which business?
I think he has a petrol.
Anybody that knows Ahmed Musa, call. Let's tell me the business he has. Because Ahmed Musa obviously has a business.
But I think basically, looking at the terrain right here in Nigeria, I think that's one of the main things that actually makes most of these guys not invest in our football in the MPFL here.
Now,
Because
this guy, Sporting Lagos,
system here
Sporting Lagos no get terrain.
rigged.
Sporting Lagos no beside this terrain. They
Where's Sporting Lagos?
entire Lagos no inside this
Where's
terrain.
Sporting Lagos there right now?
Then the NNL. And what they said where they were not going to come up, they were going to do things the
Do
right
you
way.
know why Sporting Lagos was relegated?
Because at the end of the day, they were not good enough to stay in the MPFL.
No, because they wanted to do things right.
And
Yeah.
the point is that right, Remo did it now. Remo got relegated, came back, did things the right way, and look at where they are. I'm saying that if you have one example,
There is a particular.
Let's take a call. Let's say Proximus Prime is on the line. Good morning, Proximus. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Charles, Mr. Femi, and the handsome guy.
Dami, my name is Dami Wealth. Yeah.
Dami. Okay. Dami. Good morning, Dami.
Thank you. Good morning.
Femi, it is a huge risk to invest in the league. You would literally get burnt if you're not careful. So I think the onus is on the organizers of the league. We need to create an environment that is attractive enough, at least stable enough to be certain that you can invest and be sure that things are run properly. So if your club doesn't even do well, you know it's because your club did not do well, as against some of the funny things that happen, right? People will talk, people will invest, right? But they don't necessarily need to own clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, what Ahmed Musa said is correct, very correct, because those are the questions I kept asking myself. How do we grow our league to the point where we will watch it so much that there will be money in circulation within the league, right? But it's beyond just the clubs. There has to be like something for those clubs to build on. Mr. Shoname I don't think he's making money from Remo Stars.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I can tell you that for free.
Remo Stars is actually bleeding him, right? Perhaps there are other things that from the Remo Stars thing, he's able to make some money off it.
Proximus, Mr. Shoname owns a betting company. He's part owner of a betting company.
Yeah.
Mr. Shoname owns an airline.
Mr. Shoname is selling players. That's not bringing money to.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
And he owns a club in this.
And he owns a club in Portugal.
That's also
He's
money.
part owner of a club in Portugal.
Yeah. So it's easier for him.
Do you know what Ahmed Musa has that's bringing him money?
Exactly.
Filling station. What is that filling
We're
station?
talking about footballers that after their football
Oil is
career,
going up.
that's the end. It's only calm down. Wait till you're now you be accountant.
No verse.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we want our league to grow and hopefully get to the point where we ourselves watch it. See, I want to be able to go to the stadium close to me and watch a football match. Now, my papa dragged me into Super Eagles. I did watch Super Eagles. And for them, my own, now he can't make me love football. Can't leave me for this world go. So I want to see where our game can grow to.
All right.
And we can watch it, right?
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
You know, again, I don't feel that. I think that sometimes we're looking at the problem as one solution only. I think there are many solutions. There was a period when there was going to be a private league, right? Why can't 12 individuals come together and make a private league and show us that, you know what, within our space we can do it this way? Because we had a celebrity kind of league. But again, we brought people who were not sports inclined, who were just wanted to do for the paparazzi of that period. I'm not saying that, okay, bring your money and do it.
When you have the wrong motive, it will never work.
Agreed. But
even the so-called private league that we know was supposed to have kicked off, yeah. The idea, the motive behind it was never going to allow it to be successful.
So get people who are thinking about it who will make it successful. And we have quite a lot of young people now in Nigerian football. You asked me the question last week about if Nigerians are ready to invest. I think they are. We're seeing a lot of them.
I think... Okay, we have a call.
Hello, good morning. We can hardly hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, now, yeah. Good.
Yeah, my name is Tolu from Ikoyi.
All right, Tolu, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would... I basically disagree with what the last caller said. Because the truth of the matter is that we've been grossly following the Nigerian Premier League as we speak now. Whether we all want to say to ourselves the truth or we would like to join the Institute of Chartered Complainers of Nigeria, Nigeria, the MPFL has grown astronomically, not where it's supposed to. But right now, we see that when I saw that tweet from Ahmed Musa, I had to say, man, but maybe you don't know the technical workings. And I love what Femi is saying. You cannot complain when you would not throw your hat in the ring halfway. Whether you have businesses, whether Mr. Femi, Shuname has...
No, but Ahmed Musa has thrown his hat in the ring by coming back to play in the MPFL. You know, we all cannot... the thing is, we all cannot own clubs. All of us don't own...
See, this is what I'm saying. It is easy for... If you leave anybody, it is easy for everybody to do the work of the president of Nigeria from the comfort of their coffee shop.
Yes, true.
You understand?
Yeah.
But somebody decides to... So that way, that person to have put their hands in the ring. But somebody is committing their money into it. Now, as referees are paid directly, and we don't give kudos to this league as it were. Now, we see a private team growing to win the league, which doesn't happen. Away teams, now, guess what? There's a European company that's monitoring the MPFL, and they're going to release the report. I was tracking them on their Twitter page, and they said that the astronomical growth of the Nigerian league has been great. And guess what? Nobody's talking about the private investors who are putting money behind that. How much were we earning before? The winners of the...
What is this? Let me ask you this, guy. What is this astronomical growth in the MPFL that you speak of?
Good. We have a league that we barely have away teams win as much. Now we have a league that away teams win games. That's one. Two, did we have security issues before now? And what is it now in the last league game? In the last league season that ended? It is better now. We have referees being paid directly into their account, which makes the referee now see the game for fair judgment. So for some time, let us agree that.
No, but these are the basics now. These things you mentioned.
If you say they are the basics, they were not there before. So that's what I'm saying. So if Ahmed Musa would speak, even when he is a billionaire. He's not in every what's it called. When that guy was saying you take risk, there's something called minimal risk, there's something called calculated risk.
Okay.
You want to take the risk.
Okay, you know what I wanted to hear, which I didn't. I thought maybe you had some sort of valuation of what the league is, and in the space of maybe 2 years, that valuation has risen by 30% or 20%. That's the sort of numbers that because when you say it's grown astronomically, that's what I want to hear, figures.
Okay, okay, so if we are going to put it to figures,
do you know how much the league? Do you know the valuation of the MPFL? Do you know?
You don't tell me, sir. I stand to learn as it stands now. If a league was in a place where nobody would get into the stadium, if a league was get to the place where people are now filling up the stadium gradually, you understand? You would say to yourself that this is improvement, and it's good improvement.
Okay.
We have a league that some foreign companies are putting money to say that even if it's a little for us to watch online, let's not discredit everything about the league, for crying out loud.
We're not okay. All right, thanks, man. Thank you. We're not discrediting the league. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I tend to disagree with the last caller because nobody's discrediting the league. When you're talking about people not going to the stadium before they are now going to the stadium, or they are now paying money to the referees directly, these are basic things that should be happening in a common league, in a normal league.
The basics.
Not the basics, not the abnormality that was happening before. Now, let's take a look at a club that was formerly in the NN. I'm not sure if they're still in the NN. I'm talking about Van Dresser FC. Van Dresser, I remember then when they were still trying so hard. They were in Lagos, trying so hard to make it into the MPFL. They were complaining.
They were in Calabar first, and then came to Lagos.
Okay, yeah,
Calabar.
Before so they were trying so hard to do so many things, but it wasn't happening because, like I said, the system itself is not working. Why is it that, for example, there was a Heartland that got relegated 2 seasons ago, but they bought themselves back into the league? Meanwhile, there are clubs out there that, okay, I'm spending money on my club, for example, hoping for it to get qualified into the MPFL. Then a certain club that relegated went to buy itself back into the league because of political reasons. So I think we're not taking a look at the political reasoning in this MPFL, why many of these players are not investing. Because when you invest, you're not expecting your money back at the end of the day.
The AFN people would not defend Ke. Would have been surprised if they did not try to make her look bad. They should sit up and do better, BD. The worst day. Okay. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much. Good morning, Lagos. Okay, Victor from Igbeda, thank you very much. Yinka Maikunwa from Abuja says, good morning, gents. It's all right for Ofili for her choice. The end of it all is pecuniary, but I can tell you, Nigeria will miss her. After all, what has she won for Nigeria?
Wow, that's a different
her
view.
Action is not new at all, but she would go the way of others like Francis Obikuli, Gloria Aluzie. The sad thing is they will use Nigeria's platform to stardom only to run away. She should be made to return the grant and subsequently withdraw all privileges as a Nigerian when coming or leaving the country. It is why most sporting associations tend to suspect these sports guys. Yinka from Abuja, there's a new perspective.
Yinka, this is
a new perspective.
Well, that's different.
And he makes some points too. No, he makes some points now.
She didn't just wake up one day and leave. There's a reason for her leaving.
Why are you whispering behind? Why are you whispering, Rotimi? Why are you whispering?
What she says.
Why are you
whispering? But you're saying something now. Are you not saying there's a microphone now?
Okay, what you're saying is you don't support the opinion of Yinka.
No. Good morning. The message is from Abuja. Are you sure that guy is not an AFN staff?
So you don't support what he's saying now? That's what it is.
So the fact that it's not new, we've seen Francis and Code do this before. It's not a problem.
Worldwide, it's not a problem. People do it worldwide.
We see switches every year. But going to return grants and all that, come on.
No. So I'm not supporting everything he said.
So we're on the same page.
No, but if they give you money, if they give you grants to prepare for Nigeria, and you're not going to don the colors of Nigeria, return the money.
That means she didn't receive the grant this year.
But they said they did. They gave her.
They said they gave her money. AFN said they give her money.
She should come out and say it's not true now.
This AFN is still talking.
Yes,
I just read out a statement. AFN said they give them grants.
AFN go talk.
So if they actually gave you a grant, return it.
Because you never could run for Nigeria.
Because you're not going to compete for Nigeria now.
This year, no. She's not run for Nigeria this year. Yeah. And she's not planning to run for Nigeria
this
year.
But this thing just happened, I think, 31st of May.
World Athletics Championship is in September, long now. The African own is later on in the year now. Yeah. So she's not running for Nigeria.
The grant covers how many months?
It doesn't matter. Even if now one meet, then give you money. Yinka is correct. If they gave you money, Yinka, I actually agree with Yinka.
Because we are believing the AFN that they actually gave out.
That's what we're saying now. If they actually did give her money, then she should return the money.
If I believe Favor, why should I believe the AFN? But anyway, thank you for your message. This says, good morning, guys. This is Tune from Ogun State. Sad Halliburton picked up an injury in the most pivotal game for the series, and it affected the Pacers tremendously. Nevertheless, congrats to the OKC. Secondly, Alonso's style is gradually unfolding. He prefers his defense high up the pitch, but that creates a lot of space, and it takes one long ball for Yawa to gas, and that's how Asensio picked up his red card, even though he would have done better in that position. His tactical switch worked pretty well. Courtois pulling 10 saves. That's massive. So have a fantastic week.